I yield back, and thank you, Mr. Tiffany.
I yield back to the chairman.
The gentleman yields back.
Chairman?
Mr. Grijalva, you're recognized.
Thank you. This year marks the 50th anniversary of the Endangered Species Act and an opportunity to celebrate the progress made under this vital legislation and to renew our commitment to keeping it intact and strong. The ESA is our strongest tool and most effective U.S. law for preventing extinction. It is responsible for the recovery of iconic species like the bald eagle, humpback whale, and has kept 99% of listed species from going extinct. And I would say that is extremely successful. It has helped fuel habitat recovery and significant conservation gains across our country. Unfortunately, the legislation before us today takes us backwards. Just as our world faces an extinction crisis, as climate change impacts to species are accelerating, we have this piece of legislation that takes us backwards. Like the other CRA resolutions we are considering today, this resolution is unimpressive at best, and at worst is short-sighted extinction sentences for many Americans' threatened and endangered species. When species are listed under the Endangered Species Act, areas of critical habitat can be defined and later protected for the benefit of that species. In order to be considered critical habitat or habitat essential to recovery of a species, an area must first be considered habitat for the species. This resolution aims to reinstate the Trump administration's definition of habitat that ignores how species change or habitats work. Habitat deconstruction is the most common reason a species becomes threatened or endangered. But the Trump administration's definition of habitat blocks areas in need of restoration from being considered critical habitat, preventing federal agencies and their partners from restoring areas essentials to that species recovery. This narrow definition also completely ignores the effects of climate change on species distribution. And if a species does not occupy a given area at the time of listing, that area would be excluded from habitat and cannot be considered critical habitat. This extreme resolution will create chaos, open the door to litigation, and future challenges. In addition, it remains unclear how this resolution would impact agency actions going forward, as it only addresses the National Marine Fisheries Service, but not the Fish and Wildlife Service, even though the ruling questions were jointly issued by both agencies. I urge my colleagues to oppose this resolution, and Mr. Chairman, I yield back.